At Thanksgiving, my sister discovered I had bought a $12 million house and my family demanded I give it to her, claiming she deserved it more because she has a family. I hadn't been home for Thanksgiving in 5 years. Not because I was too busy, not because I'd moved too far away, but because I simply didn't want to. Every year I'd tell my mother I had business commitments or couldn't get a flight, but the truth was simpler than that. I couldn't stand being around my family. The sarcasm. The judgment. The way they always made me feel like the weird one who never fit their version of success. But this year, I made the mistake of saying yes. I just closed the biggest deal of my career, the kind that changes your life forever. My company, a small AI analytics startup I'd built from scratch, had been bought out for a staggering sum. It was all over the business news. My face, my name, the ridiculous figure they'd paid. And somehow, I thought maybe I could handle Thanksgiving this time. That maybe, just maybe, my family would be proud of me. That was my first mistake. When I pulled into my parents' driveway that afternoon, I noticed the same old pickup my dad had been meaning to replace for a decade, the same peeling paint on the shutters, and the same loud, chaotic laughter coming from inside. I sat in my car for a full minute before getting out. I could already hear my sister, Megan, yelling at her kids. "Liam! Put that down." "Chloe," I said, "no soda." I sighed, grabbed the bottle of wine I'd brought, and headed for the door. The smell of overcooked turkey hit me first, followed by chaos. My mother rushed up, flour on her apron, face flushed from the oven heat. "Ethan! Oh, look at you. You finally decided to show up," she said, half teasing, half accusing. "Good to see you too, Mom," I muttered, forcing a smile. My father was in his recliner, half watching a football game, beer in hand. "Well, look who decided to remember his family," he said without looking away from the screen. "Nice to see you, Dad." From the kitchen came Megan's voice. "Oh my God, is that Mr. Millionaire himself? Here we go." Megan strutted out, glass of wine in hand, wearing that smug grin she always wore when she was about to start something. "Hey, sis," I said, keeping my tone neutral. "Don't hey sis me," she laughed. "You didn't tell anyone you were famous now." I frowned. "Famous? Oh please," she said. "Your name's been all over the internet. I had 3 people send me that article about your company being sold for, what was it? 12 million? I didn't answer. The number wasn't supposed to be public, but apparently someone at the firm had talked. "Something like that," I said flatly. Her husband, Kyle, walked in behind her, cheap beer in hand, smugness radiating off him like cologne. "Damn, 12 million? Not bad for a guy who used to live in Mom's basement," he said, chuckling. "Yeah," I said dryly. "Guess that basement Wi-Fi paid off." Megan rolled her eyes. "Oh, don't be like that. We're just joking. It's actually great, Ethan. I mean, who would have thought? My little brother, a millionaire." I could already tell this was going to be a long night. Dinner was worse. Every time I tried to change the subject, someone brought the conversation back to money. "So, what kind of house does a tech guy buy these days?" Kyle asked, leaning back with a smirk. "Just a place near the coast," I said simply. "Oh, just a place," Megan said dramatically. "You hear that, Mom? He says it like he bought a cabin. It's a $12 million mansion in Seaview Hills." I looked it up. I felt the blood drain from my face. Of course she had. The table went quiet. Then my mother blinked. "Wait, 12 million? Megan grinned, clearly enjoying the attention. "Yup. It's online. Some luxury magazine did a piece on high-end properties, and guess who's on the list? Our little Ethan." Now all eyes were on me, my parents, Megan, even Kyle looking like he'd just won the lottery. I set down my fork slowly. "Yes, I bought a house. It's not a big deal." "Not a big deal?" my father barked a laugh. "Son, that's more than all of us combined will ever make in a lifetime." I could feel the tension building in my chest. I hadn't wanted this attention. I'd worked for everything I had, every sleepless night, every failure, every sacrifice. But the look in their eyes wasn't pride. It was greed. Megan's smile widened as she sipped her wine. "You know, it's funny. You don't even need a house that big. You live alone, right?" "Yeah," I said carefully. "So why buy something like that? It's kind of selfish, isn't it? When there are people in your own family struggling?" I stared at her. "Excuse me?" She leaned forward, voice dripping with false sweetness. I mean, Kyle and I could never afford something like that. We've got 2 kids. A family. We could use that kind of space. You? You're just one person. My father cleared his throat. She's not wrong, son. You don't really need a $12 million mansion. I felt a slow, simmering anger rise in me. Are you seriously suggesting I should give my house to Megan? Why not? Megan said, shrugging like it was the most reasonable thing in the world. You can always buy another one. You've got money. We don't. I laughed, a short, bitter sound. You're unbelievable. Kyle chimed in, smirking. Come on, man. She's your sister. She's got a family. You could at least help out. You don't even have kids to worry about. I looked around the table, at the people who were supposed to be my family, and saw nothing but entitlement. My mother nodded slowly. You know, Ethan, your sister has had a tough few years. It wouldn't kill you to do something nice for her. That did it. I pushed my chair back, my voice low and shaking with controlled fury. Do something nice for her? You mean give away something I worked my ass off for because you think she deserves it more? Is that what you're saying? Megan's tone turned defensive. Don't twist it like that. We're just saying you could share. You've been lucky. Lucky? I cut her off. You think working 18-hour days for 7 years, nearly going broke 3 times, and losing relationships because I couldn't afford to stop working was luck? No one spoke. I stood up, grabbing my coat. You know what? I'm done. I came here thinking maybe things would be different. But you're still the same, taking, demanding, acting like I owe you something. I don't owe any of you a damn thing. My father's voice rose. Watch your tone, son. I looked him straight in the eye. No. You watch yours. Because this is the last Thanksgiving you'll ever see me at. And with that, I walked out. Outside, the cold air hit me like a slap. My heart was pounding, my hands shaking. I could still hear Megan's voice through the door, loud, defensive, venomous. He's always been like that. Selfish. Thinks he's better than everyone. I got in my car, started the engine, and sat there for a moment, staring at the house. The same house where I'd grown up, where I'd spent years trying to make them proud. Now, all I felt was disgust. As I pulled out of the driveway, I muttered under my breath. They'll never see a cent from me. And I meant it. The following week, my phone started buzzing non-stop. At first, I ignored it. I assumed it was just spam calls or work messages. But when I finally checked, I realized my mistake. 21 missed calls. 11 voicemails. All from my mother and Megan. The texts were worse. Mom, Ethan, you really hurt your sister's feelings. You need to apologize. Megan, I can't believe you'd walk out on family like that. Kyle, you're acting like money makes you better than us. Mom again, your sister's children were crying when you left. Think about them. I read through the messages, my jaw tightening with every word. Crying children? Please. Those kids didn't even know what was happening. Megan had probably staged the whole "they're crying" thing for sympathy. I tossed my phone aside and got back to work. I had more important things to do, things that didn't involve emotional blackmail from entitled relatives. But they didn't stop. By Friday, I'd blocked them all. Or at least, I thought I had. 3 days later, I came home from a meeting and found an envelope taped to my front door. No stamp, no delivery label, hand-delivered. My stomach sank when I saw Megan's handwriting. Ethan. We've been talking as a family, and we think it's only fair that you use your success to help those who've always supported you. You wouldn't even have gotten where you are without us encouraging you when you were younger. Kyle and I are still looking for a place, and your house is way too big for one person. It would be perfect for us and the kids. You could move into something smaller, maybe an apartment nearby. We'd take great care of it. This isn't about money. It's about family. Don't make us have to do this the hard way. Megan. I stared at the letter, rereading that last line over and over. Don't make us have to do this the hard way. What the hell was that supposed to mean? I crumpled the note, tossed it into the trash, and went inside. But as much as I wanted to shrug it off, something in my gut told me this wasn't over. Over the next few weeks, it got worse. First came the guilt trips, long, emotional emails from my mother about how family should stick together. Then, the insults, voicemails from Kyle, calling me a selfish bastard who forgot where he came from. Then came the visits. Twice, I caught Megan's SUV parked down the street from my new place in Seaview Hills. Not right in front, just far enough to look like she wasn't spying. Once, I came out of my gate and saw her pretending to jog by, waving with that fake, sugary smile. "Hey, Ethan. Just wanted to see how you're doing." "Don't," I said, my voice flat. "Don't show up here again." She just shrugged. "Relax, I was just in the neighborhood." I knew she wasn't. She lived 40 minutes away. I told my security company to tighten the cameras, and I changed the gate codes. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was coming. That something arrived 2 weeks later, on a Sunday night. I just finished dinner when the doorbell rang. I checked the camera feed. Megan and Kyle were standing outside my gate. Kyle was waving his phone at the camera. "We just need to talk, man," he said. "No," I said through the intercom. "You don't." "Come on, Ethan," Megan pleaded, her voice falsely sweet. "We're family. Don't make this ugly." "It already is," I said. "Now leave." They didn't move. "Fine," I muttered and called security. Within 10 minutes, a guard car rolled up. Megan's voice got shrill when she realized I'd actually called them. "You're calling security on your own sister," she yelled. "Yeah," I said through the intercom. "Because you're trespassing." Kyle stepped forward, shouting, "You think money makes you untouchable? We'll see about that." When the guards arrived, Megan was screaming that I'd turned my back on blood. Kyle was filming the entire thing like he thought he'd get a viral clip out of it. They were escorted off the property. For a while, I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. The next morning, I got a call from my real estate agent. "Hey, Ethan, just checking in. Did you list your property online?" "What? No, of course not." "Well, someone did. Your address, interior photos, everything, but it's posted under a fake account. Claims you're selling it for half price." My chest went cold. "Send me the link." When I opened it, there it was, my house, my photos, my details, everything stolen from an interview piece a magazine had done about my tech company's success. And the listing contact? Megan's email. That was it. I was done playing nice. I called my lawyer that afternoon. Within an hour, we'd sent her a cease and desist letter. A day later, we filed a police report for harassment and identity fraud. My lawyer told me to install additional cameras, upgrade the locks, and notify local authorities in case they tried showing up again. But Megan didn't back off. Instead, she doubled down. The next time she contacted me, it was through Mom. My mother called in tears. "Ethan, please, just talk to her. She says she's desperate. Kyle lost his job. They're being evicted. The kids." I cut her off. "Mom, stop. This is their mess. I've warned them. They keep harassing me." "Harassing?" she snapped, her tone changing. "They're your family. They just want help." "No," I said sharply. "They want my house. There's a difference." There was a long silence on the line. Then she said quietly, "You've changed, Ethan. Money's made you cold." That one stung, not because it was true, but because she'd chosen them over me. I hung up without another word. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound outside made me tense. Every shadow through the curtains made me wonder if someone was out there, watching. And then, one night, someone was. It was just after midnight when I heard the first sound, a faint click from the side gate. I froze, listening. Another sound followed, soft footsteps on gravel. I checked my phone, pulled up the security feed, and my blood ran cold. It was Megan and Kyle. Dressed in black. Trying to force the lock. The moment I saw them on the camera feed, Megan and Kyle creeping around my property, dressed in black like amateurs in some low-budget heist film, I froze. For a few seconds, I didn't move. I just stared at the screen, my heart pounding so loud I could hear it echoing in my ears. They were at the side gate, fumbling with something metal. Click. Rattle. Whisper. I zoomed in. Kyle was using a crowbar on the latch while Megan whispered harshly, looking over her shoulder every few seconds. "Are you insane?" I muttered under my breath. I hit record on the security feed and then dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? This is Ethan Hayes. I live at 144 Seaview Drive. My sister and her husband are trying to break into my property. The dispatcher's tone shifted instantly. They're attempting to enter right now? Yes. They're on camera. I have footage. Stay inside, sir. Officers are being dispatched immediately. Do not engage. I stayed on the line, staring at the monitors. Megan was pacing now, whispering frantically. Kyle got the gate open. The camera caught the exact second the lock gave way, and they slipped inside like snakes. My stomach tightened. They were on my property. I turned off the interior lights, silently moved toward my home office, and pulled up the live feeds from every camera. The house was silent except for the low hum of the HVAC. On the front lawn camera, I saw Megan whispering, "He's probably asleep. We'll just look around, show Mom it's not fair for him to have this all to himself." Kyle grunted, "Yeah, or maybe he'll realize he owes us when he sees us in here." Owes you? Owes you? My hands were shaking, not from fear, but from rage. They made it to the back patio, where I could see them tugging at the sliding glass door. Click. Click. Snap. Kyle jammed the crowbar between the frame and door. That was when I turned on the floodlights. The entire yard lit up like a crime scene. Megan screamed, stumbling backward and shielding her eyes. Kyle dropped the crowbar. I opened the intercom from my phone and spoke, my voice echoing through the outdoor speakers. "Enjoying yourselves?" Megan froze. "Ethan?" "Oh, good," I said, my voice cold. "You do remember me. What's the plan here, Megan? Break into my house and just, what? Claim squatters' rights?" "Don't be dramatic," she snapped, trying to regain her composure. "We just wanted to talk." "At 1 a.m? With a crowbar?" Kyle stepped forward, puffing up like he thought he was intimidating. "You're overreacting, man. We just—" "Save it," I interrupted. "Police are on their way. I'd suggest you stay exactly where you are." Megan's face twisted in anger. "You called the police on family? Family doesn't break into your house." They started yelling over each other, spitting accusations through the camera's mic. "Megan, you're heartless." "Kyle, you think money makes you better." "Megan, Mom was right, you've changed." And then, in a move so stupid it almost made me laugh, Kyle started banging on the glass door. "Let us in, Ethan. Stop being a coward and talk to us like a man." I said nothing. I just watched. Because a moment later, the flashing blue lights filled my driveway. The police arrived fast, 2 cruisers, lights cutting through the night. Officers jumped out, flashlights drawn. Megan started screaming before they even reached her. "He's my brother. He's kicking me off my own property." One officer held up a hand. "Ma'am, you need to step away from the door. This is ridiculous." Kyle shouted. "We just wanted to talk." The officers didn't buy it. They checked the cameras, saw the broken latch, and cuffed them both right there on my patio. The sight of Megan's jaw dropping when the metal clicked around her wrists, I'll be honest, I'll never forget it. "Are you kidding me?" she shrieked. "Ethan. Do something." I stepped outside, keeping my voice even. "I did. I called the police." Her face twisted into a snarl. "You'll regret this." "No," I said coldly. "You will." At the station, I filed an official report for trespassing and attempted break-in. The footage was clear, them entering the property, Kyle forcing the lock, both of them yelling when the floodlights came on. The officers were professional but firm. "Do you want to press charges?" one asked. I hesitated for a moment. Then I nodded. Yes. Absolutely. They deserved consequences. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a deliberate violation, and the final straw. The next morning, my lawyer called to confirm everything was moving forward legally. Restraining orders, property boundaries, press charges, the works. When he asked if I was sure, I didn't hesitate. "Do it," I said. "I want them nowhere near me again." Of course, the fallout started almost immediately. Mom called, hysterical. "How could you have your sister arrested?" she cried. "She broke into my house, Mom." She was desperate. Desperate people ask for help. They don't bring a crowbar. She's family. I laughed bitterly. That stopped meaning something the moment she tried to steal from me. There was silence. Then she whispered, "I don't even recognize you anymore." Good, I said, and hung up. For weeks, the story spread through every relative, every family friend. They twisted it, of course, made it sound like I'd called the cops on my poor, struggling sister out of spite. But I didn't care. Because when I replayed the footage, her face lit by the floodlights, the crowbar on the ground, Kyle's arrogant smirk fading when the sirens came, I felt nothing but relief. For the first time in years, I wasn't the disappointment, the quiet one, or the weird brother. I was done being their doormat. Still, the silence that followed was eerie. No calls. No texts. No contact. For a while, I almost believed it was over. Until, one morning, my security app pinged again. Motion detected at front gate. I checked the feed, expecting maybe a delivery truck or gardener. The gate alarm blared through my phone again, and my chest went tight. It was barely 8 in the morning. The sun was still low, golden light spilling over the front lawn, and there, standing just beyond the wrought iron gate, was my mother. She wasn't alone. Behind her were 2 cars, my uncle's beat-up Ford and Megan's SUV. Megan. Out of jail, apparently. I zoomed in on the camera feed. My mother was holding something, a pie tin, of all things, like she thought showing up with dessert would undo everything. I muttered under my breath, "You've got to be kidding me." My phone buzzed seconds later. Unknown number. I didn't need to answer to know who it was. Then came the second buzz, another number. Then another. They were all them. I took a deep breath and hit the intercom button. "What do you want?" Mom's voice came through, crackly but sharp. "Ethan. Honey, open the gate. We just want to talk." Behind her, Megan was pacing, sunglasses on, jaw tight. Kyle leaned against their SUV like he was ready for a fight. "Talk about what?" I said, my tone flat. "You already tried breaking in. What's left to say?" "Ethan," Mom snapped. "You can't hold that against your sister forever. She made a mistake." "A felony mistake," I corrected. Her voice trembled. "You had her arrested. She's been humiliated. We just want to make things right." "There's nothing to make right," I said coldly. "I told you before, I don't owe anyone anything." Megan suddenly stepped into the camera frame, face twisted with fury. "Oh, drop the self-righteous act, Ethan. You owe us for abandoning family. For acting like you're better than everyone." Kyle chimed in, "You're the reason we lost our place. You could have helped, you should have helped." I clenched my jaw. "You lost your place because you don't work for anything. You both live off pity and excuses." "You smug," Megan lunged at the gate, grabbing the bars. "You think money makes you untouchable? We'll get what's ours." Her words sent a chill down my spine. "What's yours?" I repeated slowly. "You're standing in front of a property you tried to steal, Megan. The only thing you're getting is a longer record." "Open the damn gate," she screamed. "I'll open it," I said, "for the police." Then I hung up and called 911 again. By the time officers arrived, my driveway looked like a circus. My mother was crying theatrically near the gate, clutching that untouched pie like a prop. Megan was pacing and yelling at anyone who would listen, and Kyle was arguing with the security guards I'd called as backup. 2 police cruisers pulled up. The lead officer, same one from the break-in, recognized me immediately. "Mr. Hayes," he said, calm but firm. "You said they were previously issued restraining orders?" "Yes," I said. "They've violated them." He nodded and motioned to his partner. "All right. Let's handle this." The officers approached the gate. "Ma'am," one said to my mother, "you need to step back. You're trespassing." My mother's tears vanished like smoke. "Trespassing? I'm his mother." "Doesn't matter," the officer said. "This is private property. You're not allowed here." Megan exploded. "We're just trying to get what's fair. He has a mansion, and my kids have nowhere to sleep. He doesn't deserve it." "Fair?" I said from behind the intercom. "Fair would have been you staying out of my life when I asked you to. Fair would have been not trying to sell my house online. Fair would have been you not breaking in at midnight with a crowbar." The officer turned to her. "Ma'am, please calm down." Megan shoved his arm. "Don't tell me to calm down. He's..." That was it. The second officer moved fast, restraining her. Kyle tried to intervene and was immediately forced to the ground. My mother screamed. "Stop. Stop. This is family." The officer looked at her, expression grim. Ma'am, family or not, the law applies to everyone. I watched it all through the camera, my sister thrashing as she was handcuffed again, Kyle shouting obscenities, my mother sobbing like she was the victim. And for a moment, I didn't feel triumph. I didn't feel anger. I just felt done. Completely, utterly done. I stepped out onto the front porch when the officers asked me to confirm my statement. They noted that I'd provided footage and legal documents, the restraining order, the break-in report, everything. The officer handed me a copy of the new report. We'll make sure they're processed. They'll likely face additional charges for violation and harassment. You've done everything right, sir. I nodded. Thank you. When the cruisers finally pulled away, my mother turned once, catching my eyes through the tinted glass of the car window. For a moment, she looked almost pleading. But I didn't soften. She had chosen her side a long time ago. That night, my house felt quieter than usual. The ocean wind outside rattled the palm leaves, and somewhere far off, I could still hear faint sirens echoing through the cliffs. I sat at my dining table, the same one I'd once dreamed of hosting family dinners at, and realized that dream was gone for good. But you know what? I was okay with that. Because peace, as it turns out, costs less than guilt. And I wasn't paying for guilt anymore. A few weeks later, my lawyer called again. All charges are finalized, he said. Restraining orders are permanent. They can't come within 500 feet of your property. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Good. Then he added, your mother left a statement with the court, she's washing her hands of everything. Said she doesn't want further involvement. I was silent for a long moment. Then I said, quietly, fine by me. Months passed. No more calls. No visits. No sudden late-night alarms. Just silence, and, finally, peace. I focused on my work again, traveled for the first time in years, and found something I hadn't had since before that Thanksgiving, clarity. Because money hadn't ruined my family. Entitlement had. The belief that I owed them something just because we shared DNA. But family isn't who demands from you, it's who respects your boundaries. And sometimes, walking away isn't cold. It's survival. I remember deleting the last photo I had of all of us together, a Thanksgiving picture from years ago, before everything went sour. As I did, I muttered to myself. Enjoy your family, Ethan. From a distance. And I meant it. Forever.